up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin IT podcast. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. My feelings are hurt. I finally got my 3DS.
Oh,
Y'all don't want
nice.
to know what the hell I paid for this.
Boy, that's
Disgusting
bad,
work.
huh?
Disgusting work, sir.
Hey,
Disgusting work.
that's what happens
But I
sometimes.
will say, I have been on it like religiously for the past couple of days after I got it set up. Now, granted, I'm always tinkering with it, but like I've been on Yokai for a minute.
Ah,
But we'll get into like what we're playing. But yeah, I've been on it religiously though, man. But I'm good.
gotcha. All right, Andre, how you doing, man?
I mean, I'm doing all right. Been busy, but getting all my stuff reset and set up all over again. So I'm good to
Fun
go.
times, fun times. Trust me, I know how that is. All right, people. So we are in March. Don't forget, we have the BIPOC Stream Awards nominations. The link is in the description. If you have not had your chance to go over there and put in your nominations, please do share it out to everybody as well. I got to share it in the Discord as well as on Blue Sky and Twitter/X. So let's make sure we get all that out there to everybody so we can make sure that people have a chance to nominate their favorite YouTube/Twitch content creators. So, and help out Vicky, make sure we do our part to make sure that's a success. So, all right, what have you been playing? Me, I started back on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, yes, I
Okay.
did. And I have not, I still don't have Cosmos.
Sir, it's not
So-
happening.
So, first two rolls, and I still don't have Cosmos. I got a zombie and I got a regular one. So
You're doing it to yourself at this point.
this is the last time. This is the last time.
Self-induced torture.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is. I need to stop. But
And then Shadow don't be helping either because
He
I
don't.
got it at
He
this
be
point.
encouraging.
Yeah. Basically.
He's like, but well, all you got to do is go ahead.
Like, yeah,
Nah.
none of that stuff works. So, yeah, I've been playing that and got back on Tears of the Kingdom just because I saw somebody make a flight thing, and now I want to make one, and I want to take on the King Gliok that's up in the sky, and I need X-wing to do that. So.
Okay.
There we go with that. All right, Jack. What about you? What you been playing?
So I've been heavy on Yokai Watch 2. Is I know it has like 3 versions to it. I think mine is what is this one called? It's Psycho something. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I mean the Psychic Specters. So I'm doing Psychic Specters. This I've always knew like Yokai had hype back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And like people were loving Yokai, and so I was questioning like why did it fall off and why nobody dealt with it anymore. And honestly, playing this, I could see why it garnered so much attention. Just something about it just seems like there's a lot of energy in the game. I mean, the play style in itself is a little different because you're not actioning anything as far as the fights are concerned. You're just kind of swapping in and out your yokai and your rotation. But it's still some strategy behind it. So I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't got too deep into it, but I'm enjoying it so far. And then also too, I'm playing Hoopland on Android. They finally, for the premium payers, they finally released the career mode, which is crazy to me for a mobile game that has this much love and detail in it. From if I'm not mistaken, one guy. He consistently keeps it up to date, but then also too, it's a big effort from the community as well. Because I mean, people take their time to like really put like an NBA league together, and all you would have to do is like copy and paste the URL in there, and it downloads like a whole NBA league. And same thing with college. Like it has like the whole college team layout on there. So literally your player is coming from college and gets drafted into the NBA on a mobile game. So I mean, it's a really good mobile game. So if you haven't played it and you love mobile games or basketball, try out Hoopland. Like they do have free up until like a certain point, and then of course you go to premium route. But outside of that, I think I jumped back into Burnout 2. And yeah, so that's pretty much been the games I've been on consistently at this point.
Okay, all right. Andre, what about you, man?
Well, Street Fighter 6, because I've been going through the world tour mode. I have so many things I want to say about that, but I'm going to save that for a video because it's going to be very long-winded. There's something. It's like some things when you look at it, it's like, okay, I see what you did here, and then there's other things. It's like, no, that don't make sense. So why play. But I've been playing that. Been playing King of Fighters, so I've been going back and forth between the two of those, and also been playing 2K WWE 2K24. Make sure I say 2K24. Everybody gonna think I'm talking about NBA.
Right.
But no, I've been playing WWE 2K24. I'm not rushing to get 25, if at all. So
can't say I blame you on that. So all right, so tonight we are freestyling. So we got a question. Well, actually got 3 questions from the Discord. This is from Jewel Ryder, and the first one is: do you miss having more than one sports game in the more than one sports game in the world? I think on this podcast, that resounding answer is yes.
Yeah,
because competition makes you up your game.
Yeah.
And I'll put it for wrestling fans. If you are a fan of wrestling, before AEW came and WWE had it for 20 plus years, we were tired.
Yeah.
We were just tired. Like me, I was fortunate enough to have friends that introduced me to like New Japan and Ring of Honor. And that's when I started getting heavy into that. And so that's because I was completely done with WWE for a while.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing over and over again. And then on top of that, I didn't like the way they treated some of their talent. I just didn't like it.
Right.
So AEW shows up and they switch the whole game. They like, yeah, we know about these other companies. We ain't gonna pretend like nobody else exists. We know about them. Here's this person from here. Here's this person from there. People are like, well, I don't know who it is. Like, dude, you have YouTube.
Yeah.
Their matches are on YouTube. If you wanted to find it, you could. I know one of my favorite actor that I like made a comment because he got mad that people telling him, dude, you have the internet. When he was trying to clown on AEW for not introducing who people are. I'm like, bruh, you got the internet, dude. Their matches are on YouTube. So you can watch it and find out who they are. Like, what's going on here, man? You ain't making no sense. We live in the information age. Right. So with this, yes, I am one of the first ones to agree. Like, yes, like NFL, Madden getting the actual contract was stupid. That was stupid on their part because now that there's no competition. And guess what? It got boring to me after Madden 15. I was just like, I'm done.
I got bored before that.
I kept hoping against hope. But I was like, man, this is stupid. So
I think I lost interest in Madden right around 2012.
Yeah, and I still go back and say to this day, NFL 2K5 is the best middle finger to everybody. Like, y'all go sit up there and take. Okay, fine, we'll do our last game. Not only are we gonna make it $29, it's gonna be better than yours in every possible way.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all of sports games, yes, Madden football wise sold the best. Live at one point in time sold the best. FIFA, I think it was a little close between FIFA and PES for a while. But if you look across the board of those sports genres that had multiple games, while they sold the best, it wasn't everybody's favorite. So like I knew people that were like, okay, I choose NCAA, what was it called? Backbreakers over, EA's NCAA, or even when we talk about Joe Montana football at one point in time, Kobe's Courtside. Yeah. Like there were other obscure games or even franchises that stood up that other people preferred for their own reason. And now you just genuinely don't even have an option. It's either you get in or you get out at this point.
Once those mid companies were gone, like Midway and Acclaim and all of them that were doing the more arcadey stuff, once they were gone, I'm like, dude, it was over.
Yeah,
so exactly. That's pretty much what it was. So and that's pretty much, I mean, I feel like the more arcade stuff should come back because all this focus on simulation.
Simulation is boring.
That's what's killing it. Yeah.
It's just boring. Simulation is boring. I need my NBA Jam with the crazy commentators.
I want my NBA Jam. I want my NFL NBA Street. I want my NFL Blitz.
Yeah. I'm like, and EA, to me, EA is stupid for not letting that keep going. Like, Street was fire.
Yeah.
Like, but then again, they got rid of the entire team.
Tiburon's
gone, and I'm sitting there why again?
Yeah.
As far as I know, those games made money too. So
Yeah,
I don't.
it wasn't like they were, they were hurting for money. They really weren't.
Yeah.
Because those games weren't expensive to make either.
Yeah, and that explains why they made them so doggone fast. But it's it's one of those things to where you look back at it, and from at least what I know of the Street franchise, they were not selling as well as 2. And so that's where they start plummeting over time. But when you start looking at those games, you start seeing why. Like, they were nothing close to the essence of 2, where 2 had the graphic style, it had the move sets, it had the players, it had the career mode, and it also had the music and the announcer with Papito. So it was like everything worked for that game.
And they had good guest characters too.
Exactly. So I mean, when you look at the arcade style, I don't know why people are scared to touch it. It is one of those things to where I'm kind of afraid for AEW's game too, because that's more on the arcade side, but the way they released that game is what shot them in the foot.
Yeah, that's what did it to them. I don't think people were mad because once they did the patch stuff, dude, the game was fire.
Yeah,
because it was the arcade stuff that people, and I think the thing is you got to get into the mindset of people, because a lot of people, and I've just noticed just from Shadow going back and forth with people and people going at OJ and all that, and I'm sitting up here, I'm like, dude, the problem is gamers now think that whatever IGN, whatever their favorite publication or influencer says is the truth when it ain't. Like, if you sit up here arguing with people about Wii U being profitable when Wii U actually made money, just all they had to do was sell one game, and on top of that, they only had 1 year that they were down in the red, and that was 2014.
Which was their R&D year.
Yeah, that was 2014. Every other year, even they only sold 14 mil, but they made money. I promise you, the Xbox game division and Sony's game division, if they were making profit, they would have rather made profit than have all the notoriety that they got, because they weren't making money.
No.
Right.
If Sony was making profit, none of their first party stuff would be on PC.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. That's just the truth. But if you tell people that, they tell you, no, it was a failure. How is it a failure if it's making profit? If it's making profit, how is it a failure?
To play devil's advocate, there's 2 ways to look at this. Was it a failure based on what Nintendo wanted for the console? Yes.
Yeah.
Was it an overall failure that didn't make any money? No. It made money. The moment you bought any game with that console, it made money. It didn't matter what game. It didn't matter if it was first or third party. It made money.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. And so you're like, bro, the only one that really didn't do anything was Virtual Boy. That was it.
And see how quickly they got rid of it.
Oh yeah, they got rid of it. I only knew one person with the damn thing.
Yeah.
They didn't let that thing breathe 2 seconds. I'm like, hold on, you got out there, you ain't make $1? Nah, bye.
Yeah, bye. That's the only thing, because once again, 3DS was making money, and there is no company called Nintendo 3DS. They're all the same company. So
even 3DS launched horribly. 3DS launched so horribly that they had to do the ambassador program.
Yeah, and your boy had to take a pay cut. Your boy took a pay cut, so people keep their job.
That's another thing. People try to use that as a flex. Oh, well, Wada had to take a pay cut because they were losing money. He took a pay cut because he didn't want to fire any employees like your other companies do. He didn't want to lose whole teams like your other companies do.
They have no problem doing it after they brag about making record profits.
EA.
And Activision. Remember, Activision did the same thing. They did the same thing. All right, so we got a question from Dark Void. Do you think Nintendo should bring back NBA courtside? And if they do, who would you rather see the face of the game?
They can't.
Nope. I actually wouldn't mind and make it Steph.
They would have to change the name. It can't be courtside.
Oh yeah,
it can't be courtside.
Yeah,
that's my problem. It can't be courtside.
You can change the name, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't mind them bringing it back, and I would let it be Steph Curry, because Steph Curry is one training threes.
I agree with that.
My 2 takeaways from it. I agree with Andre. No courtside, because it's tied to Kobe.
Something different.
It's tied to Kobe. You don't.
And I would get rid of the NBA. I would make it generic.
Yeah,
I would all pro football this
courtside, not courtside, but basketball,
whatever they name it. Because honestly, like, you go the arcade route, and to me, because we're in a whole different era when we talk about customization and the fan base pretty much holding up games at this point in time. But if you put in a nasty customization system and you say, all right, this is a bunch of generic teams, a bunch of generic names, this, that, and the third, I guarantee you someone will have an NBA roster in a matter of 2 months and sharing it with the masses. And at that point in time, you get your NBA, but then you also don't have to worry about licensing. Because I think that is the sole issue with a lot of these games, because they're tied down with licensing. And with the NBA, while they're not strict, like I tell people, the key issue that I see with having children and having these simulation type games, if my son watches highlights on YouTube and Steph went and just dropped 56, now he didn't see any of the misses because it's highlights, but he goes and he drops 56 and he goes and he tries to replicate that in 2K,
gonna be mad.
Yeah. So that's where I was like, make it fictional characters. And then it's like, all right, cool. I can make this my own storyline, because there's literally, I forget his name, but there's this white blonde haired basketball player on Hoopland. He is a freaking menace. And the fictional team that he's on is like Lakers, but he's been a menace since the game released. And he's all over the Discord, all over anything Twitter, Hoopland related. And people know who he is, even though it's not a real character. So they ask people like, hey, have you run into this guy? Like, oh yeah, he cooked me for 56 points. He cooked me for this. And so it allows you to create your own storyline, opposed to like, oh, okay, well, I got Steph and I'm supposed to shoot threes and I'm supposed to do this. You see these fictional characters come in and it kind of creates your own, rookie story, your own draft class story, opposed to following the media that we have now with NBA. So I would get rid of both NBA and courtside.
That's one thing I'm sitting here thinking, like, why don't, if y'all want to do simulation basketball any way, shape, or form, why not do a generic set of teams? Just like throw 20 generic teams in there.
People want to imagine themselves as the players.
Okay,
but
that's where you build that's where you build the community and let them, again, like Jack said, put their own rosters together. Yeah. Let people build their rosters, because there's going to be somebody who's going to take the time and go through go through a live or a 2K game and take all the stats and all the names and build the characters out and the teams out based on their colors and stuff and give them the name locations. There's someone who's going to do that and then post it up. And it'll be completely available because it's a community-made creation.
I see what y'all saying, but I think y'all overestimating games that will actually sit up and do that.
No. It's just going to be 1 or 2 people.
It's going to be 1 or 2 people. It's just everybody's going to have the ability to download it. Yeah, they're going to benefit from it. Because I tell anybody, I love Mario Maker, but I made 1 freaking level, but I played the levels that were created. Yeah. But RJ, I get you. I agree. Like, if we're talking about top million seller, of course, no, they're not going to get into it. Like, because there are people that are stuck in their ways and they love what they love, and they love the NBA. Same way with NFL. Like, we can complain about Madden all day, but there's people that love football and they don't care. They just, hey, does the game work? Is my roster straight? Can I play online? That's it. They don't care. So there's going to be but my counter to that, RJ, is this: we need some variety.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
Arcade scene back.
We need the arcade scene back.
Yeah, because I was saying, what I think about it is like this with the sports stuff. It's like in the case of Nintendo, right? Since they pretty much the only people that actually care about their exclusives, do a Space Jam with it. You know what I'm saying? Like have Link, Zelda, Ganon.
Oh, you want to put them in there?
Yeah, put them in there like that and have it like, because remember there was a DS game.
Hoops. Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Mario was Mario. It was 3-on-3 with Mario them, and I'm like, dude, have them that way. You ain't gotta pay Steph them. You don't want to. But yeah, do it like that. Have it be like a arcade style, like NBA Jam or whatever.
Right.
And I mean, they do it with everything else. I mean, we saw golf.
And that's why it's fun. Like,
and they'll make something crazy to go along with it. Like the golf rush mode where you had actual pro golfers. Like, man, if this was in real life, that's all I do. I'm like, wait, what is it? The pro golfers that goes to like the US Open and the Masters. Like, man, if there was a real way we could do this in real life, I would only do golf rush mode.
Like, imagine them having their golf carts lined up behind them, And the moment, like, soon as y'all start, tee off, bam, and then see where it's at. All right, get in the car, go.
I mean, that could be done in real life, and it would be chaotic,
really
but it would be
could.
fun. It would be fun. You just have your caddy ready to ride. Have your caddy have your caddy sitting there with the clubs in the bag, just pop them out for you real quick.
Yeah, just throw them. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. I'm like, okay, they can do that because they can. I mean, and you can have like people that you ain't seen or people be complaining about F-Zero. Have Samurai Goro and Falcon show up.
I would love to see. I would love. I still want a Captain Falcon beat him up. I still want that.
I mean, they should have.
He's a bounty hunter. We know he uses his fists.
Yeah.
You ain't got it. You ain't even have to have reason. You just got to throw him in there.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw him on different planets, have him beating up different types of aliens. He'd basically be Captain Commando for Nintendo.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, but all in all, though, I mean, to me, I was about to answer this right here.
RJ, you say that, but then it goes to sell well.
And it goes to sell well, yeah.
I'd be fine with a Mario Sports spinoff as an arcade game, and then have them have their separate simulation style game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's one of those things to where you can do this. You can do it too. Well, actually, you can do it. Yeah, two ways. So we're getting simulation out the way. I don't want simulation from Nintendo. We already got 2K locked down with that. And if EA brings live back, they keep teasing it, but it ain't happening.
They bring it back.
It ain't happening. If anything, they're gonna do the NCAA to try to feed off what they just did with football.
And I think that's a smart way to go.
And it is.
It's a smart way to go.
It was the better game anyway. But anyway, so Nintendo can make you 2 basketball games at this point. One with completely new characters, making a brand new IP, nothing Mario related. It's just it's Nintendo style, but just a brand new IP in a way to where you say, the way we did Splatoon with the shooters, we can do the same thing with basketball, football, soccer, whatever, what have you.
Actually, they can make it like what's it, Kuroko no Basket?
Yep.
The basketball anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where you
they can make it just like
skills you can throw on certain players,
and that's where
you only have 1 to 2 skills per player.
And that's being messed up right now by Inazuma 11. They haven't yet to capitalize on that, and it has a great field for it, but they haven't capitalized on it yet. But then also too, if you want the Mario crowd, Mario Superstar, what was it? Superstars? It never came from the 3DS. The sports one they had. Because it had like the horse racing, it had soccer, it had basketball. Yeah. Like they had it all in one. And it was on the 3DS, but it never left the 3DS. So, like, yeah, you can have basketball because the Looney Tunes Wacky Sports just did that not too long ago, if not like a year or two ago. Now it didn't play all that well, but they still did it to where it was like all the Looney Tune characters. You did basketball, you did soccer, you did some other stuff too. But you could do that because I mean, with that, if they're not going to continue the whole Olympic games with Sonic, just do that with Mario now and the Mario cast of characters. Yeah. And then for those of us that want like something different where it's more customization and it's not tied to Mario, you can do that too. So you're pretty much feeding both crowds at that point.
Yeah. And but the idea was just hit me, but they could do a Nintendo, just not Mario specific, but just Nintendo sports, Nintendo fantasy sports. Mm-hmm. You could have a basketball game where you have a different court representing each game. You have a court for Mario, a court for Zelda, a court for Metroid, you could have just make it like Smash Brothers. In the thought process, make it like Smash Brothers, and in the fact that you would just have multiple different variations of courts to have different hazards and different characters have different special moves, like having Link smack the ball with his sword and somehow still scoring.
Right,
or slicing it apart so he can get 2 baskets,
or have a little Mac post Samus down and never mind.
No.
There you go, taking it too far. There you go. doing too much right now.
A little too far. Have Samus have a team with Mac dunking.
Yeah.
have it with little Mac dunks posters on Samus, and Samus kind of.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Samus walking around with a freaking poster.
Yep.
Right.
I'm sorry, that meme is still just hilarious to me. Like
Round 2.
At my place. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from?
I remember that image of him sweating bullets, looking at
Yeah.
me. He's like, nah, I don't know about that. You killed galactic tyrants. I don't know if I'm
like you're the Nintendo version of Frieza. You blow stuff up. You blow stuff up.
no, at that point she's gonna be like Fleece Johnson.
Yeah.
Right.
I like shit and I won't shit.
That man
like,
still,
hell.
still the creepiest man on this planet to this day, bro.
To this day.
Mac better run for his life.
What's up, Sandstorm, man? How you doing?
You're muted.
Can't hear you.
Boy, him and that microphone.
Him and that mic.
That microphone don't like you, bro. It'd be fighting you.
All right, so we did get another question from Jewel Rider. And this is an interesting one because
can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
I forgot that it always switched to
you hear
default.
me?
My fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
So Jewel Rider does add exclusives. Do they make the console? Yes or no? In my opinion, yes, they do, because they give you a reason to purchase said console. If those titles don't go anywhere else. The problem is we're in the past 2 generations games have cost so much that unless you put them everywhere, unless you can control your budget, you're gonna probably have to put it on PC or everywhere. Microsoft is learning this firsthand. Sony has figured this out that hey, okay, we can't just sell our exclusives because 1, the people swear they love them, but they ain't buying them, and 2, we just got to put it on PC, just try to see if we can recoup some money. Not all of it, just some of it, because they cost too much. I mean, when you have Spider-Man 2 cost $200 million, bro,
that game shouldn't have cost that much money.
Should not have cost that. So, in my opinion, yes, exclusives make the console because they give you the reason to purchase said console. Also, when you have an exclusive, especially how Nintendo does it, the features of the system. See, I didn't say gimmick. The feature of the system actually is incorporated in the gameplay of the title that's exclusive. So that's another reason why you make it where okay, you have to buy this on here because it ain't gonna play the same if you try to buy it on PC. It's not gonna play the same if it was on PS5 or whatever Sony platform or Microsoft platform. That's why when I hear people say, "Oh man, if Tears of the Kingdom was just on a real console, it'd be so." No, it wouldn't.
No,
and
I think
it's especially Xbox. You lose the features of having the gyro for one, and that's a major takeaway for that game.
A huge takeaway.
Yeah,
and that's one of the key things too. You know, since I got into like the retro handheld crowd. Like you try to find something that fits the bill for everything, but the 2 consoles that really is hard to do is Wii and 3DS and also DS. Like they're almost impossible to do because no matter what screen you get, you don't want a big screen and then this little tiny PIP screen to where you have to try to touch and it just doesn't work. So you just have to get a 3DS because there's no other functionality like it because it was an exclusive feature, which then resulted in exclusive games having dynamic type of feature sets that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, we saw what Zombie U get turned into Zombie, and that's a completely different game.
It don't even feel right.
Wonderful 101.
But here, for the counter argument that I know would come up because I've seen it's been thrown at me before. Well, they could just make the screen switch with a button.
No.
For this particular thing, that doesn't work because especially if everything's happening in real time, you don't want to look away from what's going on real time to swap to another screen and still have everything operating where you can't see it.
Or if you have one game in particular was Sonic Rush, it uses both screens. Like he's going from the top to the bottom screen. It does not work.
It was Sonic Rush and Contra did that.
Contra did it.
Yeah, and if you ain't quick with the tap, you
you gotta be fast with it, and it's gonna get annoying. Trust me, from somebody that's tried it, it's super annoying. I mean, like I said, the tap can be there, but then also too, it just doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel right at all. But as far
you want to be able to focus on the gameplay,
exactly. But as far as exclusive games are concerned, the conversation of them not being important is only now because the 2 main consoles that always get paraded are doing horrible. So it's like, so at this
Right.
point, and I think OJ just posted something about it to where IGN was like, oh, now that the console war is over,
yeah,
it's like as if Nintendo's not beating both of them. And it's
because everybody goes with that the fact that Nintendo said they're not directly competing with Microsoft and Sony.
yeah.
They meant they're not competing with them in the hardware space. They literally meant we're not wasting our money.
Yeah, they're not wasting money
to try to build a machine to outpace them because one, we know people won't buy it because they'll complain about the price, and two, we can make our games better than what they do. We don't need the same hardware to get the same effect.
Yeah.
So listen, so exclusives, right? Crazy that this is still a conversation, but it's funny because I feel like we just had this conversation maybe a couple of days ago when somebody was talking about it was like whatever game they were talking about, and they were like, yeah, it's an exclusive. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's on the PC. And they were like, nah, it's on no other system. It's only for PlayStation and the PC. That makes it an exclusive. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're not understanding what exclusive is. Like, but it's like, but it's a console. There
console
you go.
Exclusive. Yeah, that's
there
what they
you
do.
go.
Yeah.
That's the word you need. Console exclusive is not a true exclusive. Like those aren't the same thing. We don't take half steps and say we're winning. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, oh, that's a huge victory. Look at that.
I made it halfway through the race. I won.
No,
that worked.
Like, all these sales for Black Myth Wukong. Those, you see these numbers that Sony's doing? Pretty sure that most of that was the PC numbers.
Right.
You can pretend like it was y'all, but no. So like Jack and Andre said, like the true exclusive and Jay, the true exclusives, what is really honestly what matters, and the reason why at least us old heads, if you will, would buy. Let me change that. Seasoned veterans would pick up a console in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I always picked up the Nintendo consoles because I knew that Mario would not ever going anywhere else except for possibly my phone, and I wasn't getting the same experience with that, right? But that was how I judged whether I wanted a PlayStation back in the day, whether I wanted the PlayStation or the 360. You know what I'm saying? Like the PlayStation 3 had, God of War and Heavenly Sword, all those other games. And the 360 had, the Gears of War, Blue Dragon. Like those were the reasons why you wanted to go into those systems. Partially because like your friends were there, but that to be honest with you, even today, I know some people are like, "Oh, we Sony for life," but hear me out. If you took those same games that were on the PlayStation and moved them over because they're, for whatever reason, they not on the other system. But if you moved them over to the other system and you started playing them, you were like, "Hey, all the games that we love that we was playing on Sony, they now on Xbox." You know how fast your friends will move over to Xbox? Yeah. Like, there's no loyalty in the actual system, more so the games than anything.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those situations where it's like y'all want to pretend like y'all got something special and you really don't. And then when and a company who does still have something special, because y'all ain't got nothing special anymore, it's like, well, two parts. One part, well, console exclusives don't matter anymore because it's all about the third parties that really sell all the games. And on the other hand, well, I promise I'll, if game preservation. And
listen. If you're going to say piracy is preservation, then also buying it is preservation, and buying it and preserving it ensures that there is more to come down the line. Where pirating and preserving it doesn't ensure
nothing's coming behind
that you have a copy.
Right, to that point, I guarantee you, I am in my Denzel Washington voice. I guarantee it. It's a name brand. I guarantee it. If you buy that game And Sony has proven this. Sony has proven this themselves. So if you want proof of purchase, Sony got it in them. If you buy a game, they will eventually HD remake it over and over again.
I mean, Last of Us.
They gonna milk that cowboy.
That game has seen too many releases.
Last of Us and
Last of Us is
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Last of Us is the Street Fighter 2 of zombie games.
That is not the last of that version. I tell you that much. It's gonna keep coming. But yeah,
Like,
that's wild.
That first game, like, can't y'all move on to part 3?
Man,
Which I don't think it's gonna happen.
When the PS6 drop, they're gonna re-release.
They're gonna re-release these games again.
Yeah.
just think, we're just now getting a Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's been like what, 14, 15 years already?
Yeah. And
Well,
counting.
As soon as they threw in Grand Theft Auto Online, it was like, nah, we just gonna milk this cow.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
We gonna
Which
milk
works.
it till she die.
Which works in their favor. And then they've even found a way to make it look like it's doing crazy too, because I think they released numbers for it, and it did something astronomical as far as sales is concerned. But I was like, those are a bit disingenuous. Like, you were selling shark cards with those games.
Mhm.
And so if I can catch the game for $10 and I get like 50,000 shark cards points, come on. We know that game is not being played. That the card was used, but the game wasn't played or downloaded. So I don't know, but yeah, exclusives is necessary. And then, like I said, also to double down on exclusive features for those consoles. I mean, because if you got something special with that console, it makes it hard for it to go anywhere else. And usually, if it does go somewhere else, it just doesn't hold up. And honestly, I think this will be a different tune if both Microsoft and Sony kept building on the ones that they started off with. Because while we give Sony a lot of crap for getting rid of IP, Microsoft's done it too. Like, they started off heavy in Xbox, and then as we went along, they just slowly started disappearing. Because I saw what Crimson Sky the other day, and I'm like, what happened to this game? Like, it just never came back. It was stuck on Xbox.
Come on, Chad. You don't want Azuric? Azuric, you know, that's a wonderful franchise, and Blinks is just
Blinks is
stellar.
Hey, Blinks
faded into obscurity.
Cameo. I mean, like, literally bought Rare and just killed.
Didn't use it at all.
I mean, Everwild. I mean, no, my bad.
Don't because Everwild it should stop in time just like Blinks did. No, I'm all right on that one. Now I will say build on Blinks, because you know the first game is not going to be a home run every time. Build on it, but that's my key point right there. I mean, because I don't know how we got from Project Gotham to Horizon, but at some point I figured you could possibly hold both of them up. But yeah, Dark Void even said Project Gotham Racing.
But I was like, Project Gotham got replaced by Forza
Real
real
fast. J2, look,
we say that all the time.
We've been asking that for the last 15 years. Like,
it was supposed to be a Slide game coming out too.
There was supposed to be. There's supposed to be a movie coming out too with Slide, but they mysteriously dropped them.
They even teased Ape Escape. So
the problem with Infamous is, like, I think Sony just won't let another team work on it, because
I love that franchise.
Naughty Dog is who was it? They were like, no, we don't do those types of games anymore. Like,
the backlash they got from that.
Yeah, what? So,
but it's crazy though that they say they don't do those type of games anymore. And Spider-Man is not too far from being
right superhero.
Like, yeah, it's not
but that's what I'm saying. That and we've said this before. Is like, you could have easily have put Spider-Man or had an Infamous situation where the game did something with both, and you missed it, and you missed your opportunity.
And the thing is, do you really think Marvel would have said no? No, they're getting money off top. Marvel ain't gonna say no.
If anything,
they would have made a comic book off. They would have made a comic book.
They would have made a comic book off of it, and then he would have ended up making a cameo in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, bro, you would have made it. So yeah,
I mean, it's literally a comic book story.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But they feel that they're too mature for that now.
Demure.
You're too mature to create a fantasy world where a man can swing off buildings by a makeshift gooey rope.
Yep.
Right.
and bounce around. He can punch people off buildings, but they don't die.
Wait, and hold on. And when you swing, it mysteriously attaches to something.
Whatever.
Right.
First of all,
It can
first of
attach to
all,
the atmosphere.
they got a voice actor to play Craven that actually sounded like he was Russian. So there's that.
Yeah. Dark Void. This one. So this is my hot take. So don't lynch me. Don't do any crazy stuff. If Banjo and Conquer were to be sold, I still don't think they would sell well. Solely based off of the fact that one, I feel like the bar is too high. It's on that scale of like Half-Life 2 and 3, like waiting for that to come out. But then also two, the nature of those games we don't do anymore. They were like, well, Banjo was more collected on than Conquer was, but Conquer was like that game played on parodies of movies. Now, if they can do that, like, yeah, that can keep going. Like Conquer keep going by doing the whole parody thing, but Banjo.
But are they gonna censor it? That's the thing.
Nintendo, no.
Nintendo ain't gonna do it. Like
Nintendo didn't censor the. There was like, rare, if you publish it, you can do what you want, and they did.
Then Nintendo let them do what they want to do. We talk about other people though. Other people like Sony. For a company that's supposed to be kiddie, they sure enough be letting their developers have free reign when it comes to it. And Sony and Microsoft be like, no, y'all got to take that out. No, y'all got to take that Stellar Blade. Y'all remember that? Oh yeah, y'all can't have that in there.
Hi, Vicky.
Oh, hi, Vicky.
With the shea butter, baby. Black boy joy.
We got Gex that just recently came back, and Gex does the same thing that Conquer did.
Yeah. I think what Glover's coming back too, right?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy Gex is coming back.
In essence, Nintendo. If we were to say Microsoft was to sell those IPs to Nintendo, which I doubt they ever would, but if they were, Nintendo could, in theory, put a couple small teams on those games, low cost investment, and put them out and just let them build up steam slowly, like they did with everything else.
Do you think people will accept that though, because they're already considered top tier characters?
Yeah,
they're not top tier characters anymore. The reputations have been kind of. So they got
to still hold them up, though.
Jack,
they got to build them up.
Jack, all you gotta do is throw Conquer and Smash Brothers.
If you release a Conquer parody game right now, you release Conquer's Bad Fur Day 2 right now, and then Conquer shows up in Smash. People will find him in Smash with all the parody lines and stuff, and then they will go buy his game.
Yep. That's.
I don't think Nintendo would.
To sweeten the deal, you slickly release him at $30. Branded.
Nintendo will not accept buying the IP though.
No,
because I mean they have their own. They could just create a new IP. They just made like 7 new IPs for Switch alone. So,
but this is like a fantasy thing though. Just
because if we was building a fantasy football team, this would be it.
Microsoft would just have to publish it on Nintendo hardware. I mean, they would need to.
But here's the thing: the way Microsoft acted, I can see Microsoft doing it. The way they acting,
they definitely be
the way they acting now, because they just trying to get any kind of money they can get at this point. So I would not be surprised if in the next couple months the NSO just surprise shadow drop Conquer's Bad Fur Day on the NSO.
Oh yeah, I expect it to happen.
So is Xbox 5 the last console then?
Probably.
I'm gonna go with no.
You don't think so?
You don't think the Xbox is
on time?
It's gonna. Actually, no.
I think it'll be the last console sold in retail stores.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think going forward, you're gonna have to get it from Microsoft.
Because everything Microsoft's doing now is about the ecosystem. So like, and they've already said now they have Sarah Bond did let it out that they are working on a new thing. So there probably is another console that I don't think it's going to be what we think it is. It's probably just going to be something that's integratable, that's going to be integrated between their ecosystem again. Because remember, they got stuff coming out on Xbox One still. You'll see it in small print, but it's in there on some of those games. So I'm like, it's can be played within the ecosystem. Now,
my prediction would be you will see an Xbox controller even in 20 years from now.
Oh yeah. It's a great controller.
Yeah, and they pretty much automatically work with PC. So yeah, you're gonna see
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
You're gonna see that. That's the preferred button layout too.
Yep.
Did they
Exactly.
change the name
The Super
from
Nintendo got laid out.
Xbox controller to just X controller?
Or
No, they're
Game
probably
Pass.
keep
No,
it.
I think you
It'll
got
still
the Xbox
stay.
name.
Because
It'll
that's a
still be
brand.
named Xbox.
It's a brand.
That's a
Yeah.
brand. So
That's a
they
brand
still-
name.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
it
can still
separate-
make it the brand.
Right, because it separates you from Microsoft. Because I mean, you
Yeah.
got the Windows moniker, you got
Yeah.
now Copilot. So yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox is just yet another subsidiary under Microsoft at that point.
And I don't think you want them to be saying they Microsoft, because then Sadell will be
Yeah.
like, "Well, I can let them go." Oh, I was about to sign. I was about to fire all y'all. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, why you too giddy, bro? Why you too giddy? Calm down, calm down.
Game Pass is the cloud thing he wants. So
Yeah,
he's kind of
exactly.
halfway there.
And he still want to fire, them.
Now, I still say it may have to come from Microsoft, but they still need a cheap entry device for cloud. You can keep saying Xbox is everything all you want to, but if anybody's tried it on any other device, that it doesn't function all that great. Because even though like the Samsung TVs is like, I don't know, Fire Stick, same thing. You're still gonna have to create a cheap device that accepts cloud. But yeah,
An
I
Apple
do
TV,
feel like
basically they got to make one of those.
exactly. So I mean, I feel like I think this is like you said, this next one that's coming up, both the handheld and the console, because there will be a handheld, will be their last retail push. But as far as going forward, I think they're still going to offer you hardware at this point. I mean, especially if I can give you hardware that you're going to buy and then they end up being digital only, that's a win-win across the board. And I think they're still selling game digital cards in retail stores too, because you can go to Best Buy and get like, what was it? What was the name of the game? Any Xbox game, like let's think Halo. I can go and get like a Halo card, just scratch it off, and I'll get the game. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But honestly, as far as a platformer fan concerned, I would love for both Conquer and Banjo to come back. I just don't know what in the world you do with them, other than Conquer, because Conquer, they can go the Wayans route, like just make parodies of these movies. They come out and just make Conquer play off of it. Now you just gotta be creative, and I don't know what team you give it to, because Retro's not the same, so it is what it is. But I don't know who you give it to. If anything, I'm giving it to Yosef's team. Since he seems like he can come up with something crazy, I'm giving it to Yosef's team, just see if they can do something with it. If he wants it, that is.
And knowing Joseph, he'll probably be up for the challenge. Knowing him,
He would, yeah.
And that plus that'd give him an excuse to terrorize Jeff in the next game.
Yeah, I would be down for Conquer more than I would Banjo. I think Banjo got ran down towards the end when they made it over to the 360, and then I just don't know what you're doing them. Because I mean, they tried the collectathon, they tried the whole customization, because it was like, oh, Tears of Kingdom didn't do this first. It was bolts and nuts. Play that game.
Man, play that.
Stop
I was like, play that damn
Stop
game.
being stupid. Like, stop looking at highlights on YouTube and it's like, oh, they didn't do it first. But yeah, it's I would love to see them both come back. It's just I think only one would succeed, and that's Conquer.
Yeah. I mean, Conquer, like you said, Conquer's the easiest one, because
the
amount of movies that's out now, bro, they have a field day with Marvel and DC.
I need Kingsman, because you gotta do some of the gunplay.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think what other movie.
It's gonna have something with Infinity War. It's gonna have something.
Yeah, you got to get into the Marvel scene.
Marvel and DC.
Mission Impossible.
Right.
Impossible with him doing this crazy stunts.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be that, because especially when they took shots at the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because there's no game doing it right now.
Yeah.
There's no game doing parody right now. And they can even dip their toe into like John Wick. You can dip your toe into the anime bag. Like make an anime version of Conquer and let him get to his bag, similar to what they had those episodes of what was it, like those fillers for Luffy for One Piece.
One Piece,
yeah. I mean, you could do the same thing with this, and just like, okay, putting Conquer in an anime world, and that's a level. I think that'd be dope.
Can you
I would
imagine
say you could do the so bad that it's good horror movies as well.
Yep.
So they can go in there and they could do the Winnie the Pooh joint.
Yeah.
Like they can go in.
Oh, actually, that would fit real well in there too because of the teddy bears.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Because the teddy bears are soldiers in that franchise. So yeah.
I'd have one special request though. I'd have one special request. We'd have to do an Afro Samurai-esque Conquer.
Ooh, Conquer with a fro?
Conquer with a fro.
And Ninja.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that one writes itself. I think Banjo is just too cookie cutter at this point.
Yeah.
And I think you pulling off that Conquer situation because movies will never stop. And you can find a way to make fun of any movie.
And
the same thing about Banjo though is the cast of characters is insane for that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad to see all of them go, but not only would you have to work with Nintendo, let's just keep it a book. The majority of your success if you release this game is going to be on Nintendo hardware. And so now you got to deal with Nintendo's schedule because what you're not going to do is launch this with the 3D platformer that Nintendo is
right.
making.
I mean, you could. You're just going to get Horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to get destroyed. So you have to work around their schedule, and yeah, it's sad, man. But I don't. That might be the last we see of it, and all those. Just think about how many arcs you could have had with all the characters that are in that franchise too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's why I always say, like, I really wish the Stamper Brothers didn't take the money.
Yeah.
I really wish we would have been on.
They said they wish they didn't take the money.
Yeah, we would have been on Jet Force Gemini 4 by now.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
We'd be in like Killer Instinct 5 or 6. We'd be on like Conquer 3 or 4.
Might be on the 3rd cameo game by now.
Yeah. So I mean, I really wish they would have never took the money.
That's another one. Cameo, really, you could have kept upping the monsters, you know, and the level design like that. Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of things that Rare just okay.
And
Cameo started out development on GameCube, so
yes.
So and I know Sakurai would have loved throwing some of them characters in Smash.
You know how he would have done that character in Smash, making her transform in the middle of combos.
Yeah,
bro, he'd have had a field day.
Yeah, knowing him, and then he'll embarrass everybody that plays by doing it on 2 separate controls at the same time.
Right? You're like, how's this man? Does he got 4 hands? What is going on here?
All of us, we just hating. We just like, man, you ain't even fair, man.
like, how you gonna jump me by yourself?
Right?
You playing 2 characters jumping me by yourself
at the same time, like. Dude, when he did that during the Terry direct, I'm like, is he playing
2 controllers?
2 characters with 2 controllers
at the same time?
That ain't even fair.
And my problem is, how can you split your thought that way, man?
Yeah, I'll be confused. You hear me?
He counts in binary.
Yeah, he counts in binary.
You got 2 separate brains. I mean, I can think of some whacked out stuff, but goodness.
Yeah, that was just like, I know everybody in the fight game community just like,
yeah. Y'all should be happy he never took up tournament play.
Yeah, you know, it's like
remember he did fight somebody though. He did play against somebody. He
played against someone, but he never joined the tournaments.
It's like,
it's
like if he decided to have a tournament like that, it would remind me of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pegasus?
Right. Hello,
the Smash Brothers tournament, you get to him and he beats you with 2 characters.
The crazy thing about him is, like, he's got to be the nightmare of a manager though as a director. Yeah. He's probably worse than Iwata because there are no excuses. Like, you can't go in. Well, we just couldn't figure out this one. He's already thought of everything that you're doing. So you're like, this brick wall, and he's like, figured it out. Yeah. He's like, hey, you should just probably do it because whatever problems you're gonna run into, I already know them. So don't even come to me with excuses.
Exactly.
Nah, he's just gonna give a full layout. Like, here, when you run into this problem, this is your fix. You run into this problem, this is your fix. You run into this problem,
flow chart.
I haven't tried this thing yet, but this should work.
It should work. Well, speaking of Yugi, that was another anime that was much like Pokemon that had me thinking I can pull certain things off that was happening in anime.
Oh,
Because you imagine how much I struggled to get Toon World, and it didn't do none of what Toon World did.
Because that first series did a lot of
tomfoolery.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I went to because I used to work at Books A Million part time a few years back, and we hosted one of the regional qualifiers. I actually saw somebody pull all 5 pieces of Exodia.
That's crazy.
I actually saw that. I'm like, what? He pulled it off, and I did see somebody. They did pull Toon World, but once again, if you up against Exodia, that don't matter.
Yeah.
So
in this day and age, doing the sliper and all that stuff, like it's cool, but like it's crazy because in that first season, I think even Joey like makes a fusion. He don't even got the card for it. Like,
I will say like actually being at one of them tournaments, like it was actually fun to see, but that stuff is hard to pull. And the sad thing about it is like you think like the Smash Bros tournaments they be telling people ain't you can't play with this character. Like, dude, if you had any of them Egyptian god cards, they kick you out. You had any of them the movie cards like Ultimate Shining Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon, or Sphinx Kalea or Andro Sphinx banned. Like it was like it got so bad. Like the people was giving us because we were helping out. They gave us the list. Like we had to go through people's cards. Like, bro, you can't play with that, man.
No,
like, come on, you had to pull a Weevil. Yeah, they had to pull a Weevil. Go toss their cards out.
Man, I had to get like one dude had like 2 Red Eyes Black Dragons and the Ultimate Red Eyes. You can't play with that, man. You can't.
But see,
it's because they fit. To be fair, it's because they change up the rules pretty often. Cards break the rules, so they have to ban them.
Yeah,
but that's one thing I will say. Like for those first seasons, for those animes that are now beloved or not around anymore, they really set like the precedence of these are like master cards. Because when I tell you like Blue Eyes White Dragon was like
serious.
A legendary, it was serious.
You need that.
But like you think about that in the same vein of Pokemon, because I was thinking about this the other day and went to somewhat do a video on it. Like they kind of killed the word legendary. Because when I think about legendary Pokemon, I'm not expecting 20 or 30 legendaries. Like, like when you like, oh, here's Articuno, Moltres, and it's like, all right, cool. There's more next generation. Like, and then there's a god and a devil. Like, so how deep a legendary are we getting?
So I think of it as matter. So I kind of because I was thinking the same thing, but as it started going, I kind of think of it as not legendary as in. Well, it's still as in the kind of the one of a kind, but more so in the sense of like how we have like just general legends. You know what I'm saying? So thinking about like Greek mythology, you know what I'm saying? But those things actually exist. So like there's only one Zeus and all that other stuff, and like so there's stories behind them, and so like or even thinking about like Moby Dick or like the Chupacabra or Bigfoot or something like that. But like every country has its own legends of, different animals and stuff like that. They just actually exist. The only part that really messes that up is the fact that everybody can catch one.
Everybody can catch one.
So it's like,
but you wouldn't want to make a game and then not allow somebody to get it.
Right.
Like, you got it first, so you're the only person that can ever have it.
That would be tough.
I get it. It just and so you could just think of it as like when you fight somebody else who has that same legendary, it's almost like taking you out of like a multiverse type of situation to be able to fight. But like just even that thought, like even watching the anime, and you've seen Articuno or Zapdos like multiple times, and you pretty sure y'all don't have kids. Like,
why are you legendary? Like, so do they ever explain why they're legendary?
It's not directly.
Not directly, no.
Seeing like the manga or the games. The games usually explain them pretty decently if you search for it.
Well, it's usually off of a feat, not like rarity.
And the other thing too, you gotta remember, like the legendary thing. The problem with it is because you, especially in the trading card space, you have to keep making them for every season, especially base them off like the anime or the merchandise. So like with Pokemon, it's gonna be about 100. It's gonna be out of 150. It's gonna be about 100 legendaries by the time this get done.
For sure.
The second they make another area, guess what? They gotta have legendaries for that area. They didn't get rid of the other ones
because that's what. Because to me, that's what it kind of killed Mewtwo for me. Because it was like they built up Mewtwo, and then you turn around and like he's not even a big dog no more.
Well,
after you got a Pokemon that could completely wipe him out of existence.
Wipe him out.
But the thing was, like with Mewtwo, I think Mewtwo was that lightning in the bottle because like the way they presented him, and you got to remember for like the first 5-6 games, you did not want that smoke.
Yeah,
you didn't want that smoke.
Well, no, not unless you had Mew.
Unless you had Mew, you didn't want that smoke. So I think they did a good job. I think they just carried it as long as they could. Now the thing was, he messed around and got popular on Smash Bros. The next thing you know,
and that was the problem because like Mewtwo was on par with Pikachu for a minute, and it was like, okay, Mewtwo might be one of them ones. But I mean that was always my thing. But looking into like the legendary or the mystique of some of these characters that the animes do within the anime, like what they do in the first season, or even just like that first iteration of that series, it's like it kind of gets killed when the next generation shows up because it's literally like, oh, okay, here's another one to replace that one. You're not so legendary anymore. You're not special, my friend. There's more like you.
That's the problem with this kind of franchise.
Well, it's kind of like in fighting games too, because you have legendary characters, but you got to think of it more as like legendary just means top tier,
right? Because I mean, Bison was big dog, and then he got knocked off real fast. Bison's basic at this point. And the same thing,
he's a step above basic, but
well, you get what I'm saying, like because Bison used to be that thing of like, okay, he's like an untouchable. He's a legend. Akuma was the same way for me. And you think about any fighting game, it's like, okay, you can't play as this character for some games. It's like you can't play as this boss character unless you cheat. And like you put in a cheat code and play as them. And then like the next game is like they're here. Because like Goro was like that for me with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay, that's the boss. Like you just can't play as him. Shang Tsung. And then they just become your regular characters at some point in time. So,
because I mean, this eventually you got to think of it in this terms of eventually everybody else has to start climbing up to their level.
True. Yeah,
and there has to be somebody above them that has to be taken down.
Hey, Dragon Ball said
that's
no, it ain't.
Up with Shao Kahn and stuff like that. The way
And I guess from Shao Kahn, they had to go to gods at that point. So
they had to.
I mean,
which made sense because Raiden, like he has to report to somebody too.
And Sir Tom, you are absolutely right. Just like Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Super Saiyan.
The first, and now like everybody has it. Like One Piece has gears in the upper level.
Guess what? Everybody ain't got. Everybody ain't got the glow.
Just end everything by just saying Cosmos, and that's it. You ain't got to say nothing else.
See, everybody, what happened? You see, we were just talking about this.
He said that
you are his problem. You are his problem.
You are
you're the enabler, sir.
You are the enabler, sir.
Because that man could have left Cosmos alone a long time ago, and he's still scratching his neck. For Cosmos. And to me, my thing is Cosmos better be the best freaking character on that game the way this man fights for Cosmos.
I started my playthrough again of AC2. I still ain't got her.
So tell me this with Cosmos, is there an attack to where one shot kill? I'm not.
Yeah, you could. Cosmos breaks the game.
Okay. So it's
the problem is that she has a whole storyline tied to her.
Yeah, and so you have to get her. Like if you want to complete the game, if you want to 100% the game, you have to get her. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to get her. But the problem is they made her so freaking hard to get that it's damn near impossible because it's a gotcha game. Like that's the one thing I would say.
The odds are set when you start a new game.
I'm just like, but you could have Cosmos and Numa and Elma in the same party, and you can have Overdrive, Cosmos's kill screen abilities, and all the kill screen abilities from Numa, and it's just like the game is not even the game anymore. Everything's broken.
So it's worth the hunt.
Damage caps.
But at this point, you might as well just cheat.
Yeah, it's just all damage caps. Unless you play the DLC challenge stuff, you're not getting touched.
Okay.
And even with because I've seen people like go at those overpowered uniques, and with Cosmos and Rex, and kill the damn thing in 3 moves.
That's it.
So one chain attack, 3 moves, and you're like, what the hell? Like, yeah. So yeah. Unfortunately for me, Ton, I don't get any pity pools for some reason. I don't get any of that.
Like we giving him all the struggle.
I don't know what it is. Like it's just it's such a weird role with your save, like how that works. But basically you're screwed either way, because typically if you want Cosmos, you want 100%, right? So you want to pull everybody. Yeah. If you get Cosmos first, that means one of the other easier people to pull now has Cosmos pull rate. Yeah. So it's going to take forever for you to pull that last person.
That's why I hate gotcha. That's why I hate gotcha games. That's why I hate gotcha games, and I hate that.
That was the big problem.
Yeah, I hate that Monolith did that. Like that's why my thing is like, yes, Breath of the Wild is Game of the Year 2017 because of what Monolith did with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. If they would have did that, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would probably be Game of the Year. But it's not Game of the Year because it's Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild
full Cosmos is Game of the Year for me.
No,
I think the big problem was that they made it complete chance instead of giving you a guaranteed way to get her.
Yeah.
Like give you a way that is guaranteed that you can get her. Make it hard.
Yeah.
Give you a guaranteed way to get her.
But make it doable.
Yeah. Make it a challenge.
Give us Telos, and then you're like, well, here's all this backstory about.
Yeah,
nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Telos without Cosmos.
Yeah, they straight up gave you Telos and everything, and I'm like, I don't want Telos.
Oh, wow, man.
So
like he's here for you.
My thing is, if you give me the person she fights, I want to have her.
Yeah.
So that's like that. To put it in simple terms, this is like giving you Ken without Ryu.
Yeah,
like they doing for freaking City of the Wolves.
It's like when they were talking about smoking noob Saibot in chat. I was like, yeah, those characters were almost impossible to beat unless you basically cheated the CPU. Yeah. Then they give you them, and I'm like, okay, like that's interesting, but and then they're nothing like how they were in MK2. So, but
nope.
Yep.
Yeah, the hilarity of all of that. Yeah, but my eternal struggle with Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I love struggle for real.
I mean, we can trade saves, man. I don't, like
that ain't gonna work. we do the same trade. We'll do the same. Next thing you know, Nintendo look. Wait a minute, that Jay's profile. No, take that name on
that. Nah, Cosmos don't go there.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me snatch that record.
He needs to suffer more. So yeah, but all right, man. There's one more thing I did want to talk about that I thought about it, but I could probably hold that off a little bit till after April 2nd.
It's gonna be here soon. People were talking about it like it was 2 years away. It's right around the corner.
No, it's right around the corner. So,
Sony on the phone, like, hey, Rockstar North, can you launch a trailer,
bro? It's about to be
launch it in April and make sure.
Look, if I was Sony and I got that direct pull with Rockstar, I'm like, hey, Rockstar, can we bring back Oni?
Yeah. But Rockstar probably like, Sony already cut the check. Can we do it the day after?
Do we have any collaborations that we can just pull out? I don't think so. Please.
I don't think about it. There hasn't been another State of Emergency game, has there?
No.
We only got 2.
Wait a minute.
And it never got a port, to my knowledge. I think
it never got a port. We only got the 2 games on PS2.
That's it.
Emergency was fun.
Was Gun an Activision game?
I think so.
Yeah, it was Activision.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Activision.
Why Okay.
Activision had a lot of stuff back in the 6 and 7 gen. They actually did.
They just stopped putting out a lot.
They stopped because why would you when you got Call of Duty making that much money? You can just
until it's stagnated.
And on
it's
top
there
of that,
for you. It's there for you. I'm gonna just say that.
And on top of that, you got a dude that's clearly not a very good CEO at the head of the company. So
what happened to From Software getting bought by Sony?
Them Sony rumors got killed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sony already wasted a lot of money. Ain't got.
It's just funny to me because I feel like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on.
I don't think like Sony got the money like that to be doing that.
Yeah, that's Sony fan base spending the money for them because that's
had you did that, you could have easily ended careers real quick.
Oh yeah,
and you chose not to.
But that, to be honest, I really don't think Sony has the money like that.
They don't.
Like people think they got money like that. I'm like, no, they really don't.
They did that to make money. They wanted Nico out of that deal, and they got it. From what I understand, they got that platform out of that. So they're going to make money in Japan. By not selling games. Go figure. I don't know how they do that.
Because selling games ain't selling games for them.
Yeah, that's
wow. The irony.
Yeah, RJ. Yeah, that's true. Because they didn't. Because I thought they bought all the Koda Cow. They didn't. They didn't. So yeah, they only bought. They basically got like the. I think they have like the majority stock. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But they don't. No, they don't own it. So, but I was wondering how they were going to do that because I'm like, ain't y'all still in debt from when y'all had to fix all them problems with the PS3 and that melting HDMI cable? Because I mean that's why I always said like I didn't understand why they were doing a PS5 Pro. I'm like, you still got the PS5 on the market and it ain't really gonna change nothing. I understand why you did the PS4 Pro because Microsoft was doing the Xbox One X to hide the fact that the OG Xbox One launch was jacked up and didn't do half the stuff it was supposed to do. So I understood that, but Sony did not need to do the PS4 Pro, but they did to keep up with Xbox One X, and they really didn't need to do a PS5 Pro. Only to say the only thing that makes sense is to say that now we have the most powerful console.
That's it.
Sure. That Pro was necessary.
It still didn't make every game that has ray tracing suddenly 60 frames per second.
No, it didn't.
What is the point?
The cost of ray tracing is
most
very
people
high.
can't see it anyway.
They can't even without ray tracing. They can't get everything 4060. So I'm like,
no, they can't.
My thing is, if you can't identify ray tracing without somebody telling you or you pausing the game and sitting still, then what's the point?
Look, literally with my new computer, I started up Resident Evil 2. I played it without ray tracing, and then went back with ray tracing. It's sharper. It barely looks better.
Sure.
It barely looks better. Like I'm sitting there like,
but it's not gonna make me, because I'll tell you, it's not gonna make me replay through nothing. It really isn't. And like I said,
ray trace shadows almost aren't worth the computational muscle there. The only good thing I would say, probably the most obvious thing you could tell is ray trace reflections. But even then, you got to pick and choose because a lot of the times in the game, it's so demanding that you can't do both at the same time. So you have the reflections, but you don't have the ray trace shadows, and you don't have full path tracing of light throughout the scene. Like when you have like little fog or whatever, and the particles are lit, all of that goes away when you turn ray tracing on because it's like I can't calculate that too. So I just really think that was just a buzzword that they were using to sell video cards then at the time.
Of course. And
it just kind of ran away. Because it's always been piecemeal and you always had to choose what feature you were going to use. But I don't know. It just really frustrated me. But I would like for everybody to know, if you're new to the channel or any of us at all, like, ray tracing is not ray tracing everything at one time. It's not.
No, it's not.
You got to pick and choose what you're gonna focus on because it's just not there. And it's not even accurate, to be honest with you, because if you're using your GPU to do it, GPUs do things massively parallel. They don't do them accurately. So if you need accuracy, you do that on a CPU, and you use a lot of memory to do that, to error check and then correct and then run another pass to check to see and verify that it's accurate. It's cool, like you do a path and you say, hey, this extends this way, right? As the numbers get larger, you lose accuracy. So you may have a shadow over here or whatever, right, from a distance. And as you change perspective, the accuracy of that shadow changes. And it's not, you might as well have just done regular TNL shadows in that, because you'll get your little blinking or you'll get your stair steps of shadows or whatever, because your shadows are going to lose quality the further away the light source is. It'll start to pixelate a little bit, but at least it'll be more accurate than you trying to ray trace it and it's casting the shadow somewhere it shouldn't be. It looks sharp and clean, but wrong. So I don't know. I just really, I hate when I hear that, and I hate that people they're buying hardware and they're rushing to get games that they use this feature, and it's not even implemented correctly. Or if it's implemented, you have to choose between that and having a correct image if it was just rasterized. So I don't know, man. I play these games, and I'll play these games at a set resolution that's more stable without all the whiz bang effects, because I mean, you're putting a whole bunch of slop on top of what you're looking at, instead of, and your focus should be playing the game anyway. Whatever gives you the best frame rate for the most part anyway, that's more comfortable to you. That's what you should go with. If that's 30 FPS solid or 60 FPS solid, go with it. All this, I want the highest frame rate possible, but sometimes it drops down to 30 or in the teens, or like, how is it? That's not fun. Why would you even want to play that game? Just at some point, it's 120. Like, I don't see the point of it.
I don't even think it's about that anymore. Honestly, I think it's about getting the most connection on social media. Because I mean, in reality, if I can tell somebody that my 4090 or my PS5 Pro runs this game, and let me take a screenshot and send it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with engagement. There isn't. If you want to show off your new toy, I mean, rightfully so. But if that's your sole purpose, then why'd you spend all that money?
That's the gimmick. Yeah. So instead of hey, look at this controller and how you do this or whatever, the graphics are the gimmick. They always have been, to be honest with you. But that is the gimmick. And it's funny that people will other platforms by saying, oh, it's a gimmick and that's why it's sold. I'm like, the graphics are selling yours. That's a gimmick.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it surely doesn't do anything for your game.
That's why
people buying games that aren't even fun. Like,
I mean, if you're looking to play Pokemon ZA, then maybe.
Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like this past week, because I'm in the nature of like searching for some Android games, like legitimate Android games, to actually play. I was like, hey, look, fuck it, I'm gonna just take the plunge. I asked my son, I was like, hey, is there anything on Roblox that you think would be suited for me? He almost lost his mind. Like he started running down. Oh, so do you like this? Do you like, okay, so you can play this, and this. And that boy took my Retro Pocket 5 and he set up everything. Like
everything. Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't the graphics for him. Like honestly, he's in playing a game that's Blue Lock, but it's Roblox, and they have fun with that because it's just the nature of creativity, customization, and playing the game to where we have adults that forgot that's a thing. And that's where the essence of gaming to me kind of has gotten bad when it comes down to the engagement, because we're having like 2 or 3 different conversations. You got one side that's like, hey, look, love this game, what it can provide, story, whatever the case may be, gameplay. And then you got the side that's like, hey, I just bought the most expensive thing. I am now that guy, and I can now communicate with other people that spent a lot of money on this. But then you have different conversations in that era too. Because it's like, okay, I only buy exclusives. Well, I only play 2K. Well, I only play Madden. I only play Call of Duty. So it's always something. But ultimately, the key thing is I'm not spending that kind of money just to flash on social media. I don't have that kind of money like that. I'm
just saying, don't do all that, brag about all that, talk about how many FPS you got in the game, and then be bad at the game. I think that's probably the worst.
I saw some of those Doom clips. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. What are we doing? Hey, I'm emulating Metroid Dread on my Steam Deck. Look at me. And
your gameplay, your ability to play is deplorable, sir.
Yeah.
Like,
why won't Metroid crawl in 2025? Like,
I know for like with some of the people in my family, they can make a great game like a horrible one. And gameplay can throw you off. Like watching somebody else play a game could throw you off of a game. So
it's be frustrated looking at them. I know I probably lost half my fan base when they watched me beat Breath of the Wild because I hadn't played the game in like 6 months and I jumped straight to the end. Like I just need to
you can't do that.
I did everything but beat the game and came back like 6 months later. I forgot how to jump. All that. I killed my whole. They were screaming at me in the chat. It was hilarious, but it can do that. It can do that for sure because they're like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just go like? What are you doing? Why are you being that way? Like, why? Oh, yeah, like let me figure it out again.
All right, peeps, we're gonna call it a night.
One quick thing.
What's up?
I don't think we disagreed Nintendo entering into the manga anime market.
No.
Our point when we talked about it was that they were using it to enhance what they already have through their IP.
Right.
Like Nintendo Pictures is going to be about enhancing their current IP, is going to be taking their game IP and distributing it among other stuff to draw people back to the game IP. Pokemon didn't start off as an anime or a manga. It started off as a video game. Then got a card game, then got an anime and a manga behind it.
Then you got all the plushies and all the other stuff.
It's just marketing. They're using it as a marketing tactic, which cool, but we'll get some good stuff out of it. But we never disagreed that they should enter that market. We just it shouldn't just be exclusive to NSO itself.
And to be fair,
that was about the difference.
And to be fair, Nintendo has optioned for manga to be created. They've done it with Legend of Zelda. They did it with Metroid. Because the Metroid one, I wish they would bring over here. They haven't brought the Metroid one over here. The Legend of Zelda one, they've allowed Akira Himekawa, that duo, to do it, and they've done a lot of them. So, and that got put over here for years. They just finished Twilight Princess last year. So, I mean, they have manga here. I've been a proponent of them doing anime for the longest because
I have been too.
I have even said they need to do a Legend of Zelda anime based off the manga they have, just so people will know the doggone character. Because if you throw Link and Zelda on that doggone big screen, this is not going to be $1 billion like Mario was. It's not like that. So people are already. That's why I said that. So we've been saying that they should be doing anime. I
will say I originally did say years ago that they should include it exclusively to their console, but over time that just doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a good
idea.
Now,
if you want to say, hey, somebody has NSO and they get this stuff ahead of other people, cool. Yeah. But to just make it exclusive to NSO is not a good marketing tactic for them.
You're gonna need to let Crunchyroll and Netflix get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to if you wanna broaden it.
Like, I would say, put it on, like, once they put their movies out in the theater or whatever, or their show out, then put it on NSO and let people get it there before, if they already have an NSO account, sort of like what they're doing with Nintendo Music now, but then spread it out other places. Nintendo Music, I don't mind it being exclusive to having an NSO account, but movies and stuff like that, I think it would make more sense to spread it out.
Yeah.
Because everybody ain't a gamer.
Right. Yep.
So, I understand that. But, all right, peeps, we're going to call it a night. So, thank you, everybody in chat. We appreciate you for coming through. Because this was a freestyling episode. So, thank you for the engagement. We really do appreciate it. Jack, anything you want to pimp out?
So adulting is still happening, so that's why y'all haven't seen videos in like the past 2 weeks. Like genuinely, we have guests here at the house, so being able to record and things of that nature ain't happening. So I'll get the videos kicked up again pretty soon, especially doing some tweaking on how I want to shoot them and how fast I want to shoot them. So outside of that, man, just it's a lot of work behind the scenes. It's just the nature of getting all this stuff done and released. Is that's one of those the nature of the beast situation. Like you got a lot of things up here, but getting the bad boys put together, man, it's a beast. But yeah, so after I get done being an adult this week, I think I'll be able to start recording again starting next week. So, but that's about it, man.
All right, Andre, what about you?
I mean, look, I do have videos that are sitting waiting to release currently. I'm just waiting to see them get out there, and I gotta get other stuff made because I have a lot of opinions, especially about a particular game. See, look, it wants to blur it out because of me being agitated. But look, see the controller, see this controller, this character, and for the game. Look, I got opinions about that game that are going to probably make Maximilian dude pissed with me, like he was with Harada. But I don't care because I'll say what I got to say. But yeah, I just gotta try to get stuff out.
All right,
Stuff sitting and waiting.
Gotcha. All right, Sandstorm.
So yesterday we talked about Mario's 40th and what we think would come. As everybody knows, Mario's 40th is July 14th. So that was a real good conversation. As well, we also talked about Switch officially turning 8 or 7. But this is eight. Yeah. So that was crazy. 8 years for a Nintendo console. Like, who would have thought? But they did say 10 years, so I guess we all did. But anyway,
they did, and people like 10 years. They're never going to do that.
Well, they're right on the cusp of it now.
Yeah. So great conversation there. We talked about the games that we really like for the system. Some memorable games. Just the extravagancy that is Nintendo Switch. I practiced that, by the way. I kept that in my head. Extravagancy. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out, make sure that you check that out. That was me and Vito. Yeah, me and Vito talked. Geronimo was actually out yesterday, but he will be back next week. So today is the Wingin IT podcast, so we have the freestyle. Tomorrow is the Jill podcast with the Juices, Loose Crew, Terminator Juice, and everybody. That should be an interesting conversation. If you didn't check out last week, we all chipped in to buy Retro a PS5 since he moved from France to the States. And so all of his other stuff is I told him it's on the Titanic, but it's on it's still on its way here. So he has something to game on top of his Switch and I think his GameCube too. So this coming Friday, though, I didn't make this announcement yesterday, so this is a Wingin IT podcast exclusive announcement. Exclusive. Right, world premiere. We are having a Vitoverse on Friday, but I am actually hosting the Vitoverse. So make sure you guys come through. If you don't know what the Vitoverse is, come on by the channel and find out. I ain't even gonna tell you. Come by the channel and find out.
You're nothing.
So other than that, make sure you subscribe to all these all my brothers over here, and Vicky as well as Nodoka Yui, who does our Nunami, and Vito, who does Vitoverse. I'm just filling in.
All right, Shadow.
Nothing much. Subscribe to everybody here. Get the likes up for this video too if you haven't disconnected yet. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The channel will be back to normal pretty soon, adulting as others have mentioned here. So once that gets right, I'll go back to my original promise of January and we'll get things right. So yeah, that's it.
All right, and that's pretty much all I got for me. There was a fresh take this morning with myself and Vicky, and I also did a Let's Talk with Trey Vito yesterday about Captain America: Brave New World. So please check those out. Those videos are on the channel. Other than that, we'll see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out, people.
Go green. Go white. Go green. Go
Seahawks, man. I don't know what they doing.
Yeah.